Alright, allow the Tomo F1 type of intro, but today Alfa Romeo unveiled their new 2022 car, and that pretty much rounds up all the car reveals for this year. So that means I can make a livery ranking now. Now the way this is going to work, I'm going to rank them from worst to best, and just to remember, this is going to be based off my opinion, so you may agree or disagree. Now I'm going to be rating 11 liveries instead of 10 because Alpine for some reason decided to release 2 liveries, the fully pink one for the first 2 races of the season, and the blue one for the rest. Alright, so here's this lovely looking leaderboard I made, and starting at 11th, which it was really hard to choose because I gotta admit these liveries this year, I think they look great, but it's the Haas for me. I do think it's an improvement from last year, but I feel like they could have done more. The car's nice, but I feel like there's really nothing much going on. It feels a bit bland. But I would say though, without the Uri sponsors, it kind of makes it look like a backmarker car, but it does look kind of clean in my opinion without the Uri sponsors. Like the black front wing, I think that looks quite nice. Now, there could be a chance the car could just be a plain white car for the rest of the season because of what's been going on and the controversy around Uri being a Russian company. Unless, another sponsor comes in and helps fund Haas. But yeah, other than that, the Haas has to be the worst livery for me. Now, the next one might anger a lot of people, but if you're a fan of the papayas, you're going to be really sad. But the McLaren is number 10. And I'm so sorry, but I don't know. I like the fact that it's a different car. I mean, I give them that. But I think, with the colour palette it had so much potential. The blue, the orange, the grey. So much potential, but I think it was just executed poorly. I mean, it's... Like, from the side view, I think it's an alright looking car. It's a great looking car from the side. I mean, the colours pop. But everywhere else, it's just a bit of a mess. There's like different shapes and all that. I think they should have just run the Golf livery, to be honest. Like, the Golf livery was clean, it looked great. I liked it a lot, and I've got to admit, this year I think the driver's suits look better than the actual car. The livery itself reminds me of one of them free liveries you get in the Formula 1 game. But yeah, for me, McLaren is number 10. Alright, these next 2 cars were very close in my opinion, but for number 9, it's the Alpine. Now, last year, the Alpine, in my opinion, was the best looking car on the grid. It's pretty much Renault just rebranded into Alpine, but the blue, red and white, it just worked so well. I liked it a lot. And when I heard they were partnering up with BWT as their title sponsor, I knew they were going to have some pink. I think blue and pink works well. I've seen many concept arts for the Alpine, and they look really cool. But the car itself, the actual car, I think it was kind of executed poorly, just like the McLaren. I feel it's a bit clustered in my opinion with the BWT logos, the pink. I don't know, I think there was so much potential with that, and he still got some red, which I don't think really works well. But I would say this, at least the car doesn't look as bad as the race suits. I mean, the race suits just look a bit dodgy in my opinion. But yeah, number 9 for me is Alpine. Alright, so next up, and like I said, this was a bit of a close one with Alpine, but number 8, it's the Williams. And last year, it was kind of a horrendous livery. I mean, it grew on me, but it was a bit of a clustered mess in my opinion. But this year's definitely an improvement. Like, the colour blue, I like it. And you got other shades of blue, I think that's quite nice. People say they don't like the hints of red. I'm alright with it, but although I do think it would have been better if they went with yellow. So, just to pay homage to the old Williams cars in the 90s. And if you look at the side of the car, I do like the diamond pattern. I rate that. And I got to admit, when I saw this car on track, the front end reminds me of the old Williams cars from the 90s. I really do like that. Other than that, the car feels a bit bland in my opinion. Like, I know Williams don't have many sponsors. They're not as successful now as they used to be. Or like, the likes of Mercedes, Ferrari or Red Bull. But I still feel like there could have been a lot more done. Like, I feel like some of the sponsor placement, like the big Williams, like the Williams logo is just randomly placed. I think like the Darlington sponsor could have been put somewhere else. I think they should have put like a sponsor on the side pod. Even though I do think it's an upgrade from last year, I feel like they could have done a bit more. I mean, I do rate the shades of blue. I rate that. I think it looks quite nice. I like the patterns. Like on the side pod, I think they've kind of executed it well. But I think they could have done a bit more. But yeah, I think in the future I would love them to bring back the Martini-esque designs. I think those looked really stunning. But yeah, for me, Williams is number 8. Now for number 7, this may be a bit controversial, but it's the Red Bull. I did like the Red Bull last year. I think it was a very sick looking car, maybe one of the best looking liveries. I think the Honda logo placement was really nice and suited the car. But I feel like this year it's a bit of a downgrade. I feel like the Bybit sponsors really ruin it. I think the only thing that should be on the front and rear wing should be the words Red Bull. I think that would suit it better. I mean, they can't add the Honda logos because the Honda brand is no longer in Formula One. But I think I mean, I like the design. I think the design is nice. It's pretty much a modern classic. It's essentially the same livery we've had since 2016. But, for these new regulations and the fact that Max is world champion, I feel like they should have done something a bit different. Maybe add like some purple, like what they did in 2013, because that looks really nice. Or maybe have a white car like they had in Turkey. Maybe something a bit different, but maybe that's just me. I wasn't really a big fan of the big Oracle sponsor on the side pod because I was so used to the word Red Bull. It's grown on me, and because of the really small aggressive shape of the side pod, I think the word Oracle does suit it. But overall, this livery is not much different. It's more of a kind of an evolution, but I do think it's a bit of a downgrade compared to last year. I would say the shape of the car, I do like it, like the thinner nose, the small aggressive looking side pods. I like the look of it, it looks nice. But, I want to like this car, I do, but I can just, I can only just put it in 7, so Red Bull's in 7th for me. Alright, so the next one, and this was another hard decision to make, it's the Racing Point, Alpine, the pink one. I think this car looks really nice. It does really look like a Racing Point. I think maybe that's why I like it, because I was a big fan of that livery. But it's a shame it's only going to be used for 2 races, because I think it actually does look better than the actual Alpine itself. I think, the pink is really vibrant, looks really nice. The colours of the sponsors are black, it contrasts well. I think instead of maybe using the blue, I think they should have turned it to white, but that would have actually looked like a full-on Racing Point. But yeah, I do like this car. I think it looks nice, but to be honest, it doesn't really look like an Alpine. It looks like a Racing Point, like I said, or Force India, whatever you want to call it. But I'm going to put this car in 6th. Alright, so next up on number 5, I'm putting the AlphaTauri. When I first saw this car, to be honest, I didn't really like it. I don't think the renders did its justice, and it shows, because on track, it's a pretty looking car. I prefer it to the Red Bull. I like the contrasting colours. I like how they've only got 2 colours. The navy, it suits well, and then you've got the white halo, front wing and rear wing. It looks really nice, and it looks kind of sleek in some way. And I think the side view with the AlphaTauri logo and the stripes, it just looks really clean. I like this car. I wonder if they swap the navy for a black. I kind of think that would work a bit better. But, that's just their brand colours. Other than that, it's a nice looking car. Although I would say the orange X they use for the Flexbox logo does stand out. I don't think it really works well for me. But yeah, AlphaTauri is going to be number 5 for me. So these next 4 were very hard for me to choose. But number 4 has to be the Aston Martin for me. I do like this car. I think last year when they had the pink, I did like it. It grew on me. It was a nice contrast. But I think the lime just works so much better. I think they're using a bit of a lighter shade of green for the base colour. And I think, yeah, it's a great looking car. It's elegant. It's simple, but it just works for Aston Martin. I would say the Aramco logo with their full-on colours doesn't work for me on like the back of the rear wing, and the squared off nose. I think if it was more curved at the end, I think aesthetically it would have looked better, but that's just aerodynamics. But yeah, other than that, there's really nothing else I can say about the car. It's more of an evolution of last year. It's a great looking car. I like the shade of green they use, but yeah, number 4, it has to be Aston Martin for me. So for the first of our top 3, 3rd place, I'm giving it to Mercedes. This was really hard to choose, but I feel like the render, when we first saw the renders, it looked beautiful. It looked so sick. If the car actually looked like that, I would have rated it as the best looking car this season. Now, that doesn't mean the livery is bad. I think it looks great. And, some of the shots, like the front shot, looks really good. It's definitely an upgrade from last season, which was a bit of a mess in my opinion, especially with that AMG sticker bomb. I'm also going to miss the black Mercedes liveries they used, especially in 2020. It looked really menacing, looked really sleek, really silhouette-like. But, the use of silver on this car reminds me a lot of the 2020 Mercedes before it turned black. But yeah, it's a nice looking car. I welcome the silver. It's a classic Mercedes look. I like the use of the aqua blue on the front and rear wings. They look really nice. And, the little aqua blue swoosh they have on the side. It's a classic Mercedes look. I've said that so many times, have I? But I like it. And some people don't like the use of the Ineos red on the car. I don't mind it. I've gotten used to it. I think it's all right. Although I do think on the back, on like the rear wing inside of it, it's just fully red. I don't like that. I think that's a bit too much. It looks quite odd. I'm glad they brought back the Mercedes star pattern on the car. I really like it, even though it does overlap a few of the sponsors. And I also think it would have been much better if they had the silver fade into black like they used to. I think that would have made the livery look so much better. I also like how they put the AMG logos on the wheel covers. I thought that's kind of nice. And yeah, other than that, there's really nothing much I can say. It's a nice looking Mercedes, definitely better than last year. And I like the fact they went back to silver. I do miss the black. Maybe they can do a black livery as a one-off. So for me, Mercedes goes third. Right, for the final two, for second place, this car is driven by Valtteri Bottas and Guan Yu Zhou. It's the Alfa Romeo. It is such a beautiful car. It's so stunning. Absolute quality work by Alfa Romeo. They never disappoint in terms of liveries. I like it. I like the combination of red and white with the black front wing. It looks so good. That blood red is so rich. You know, I like the fact they've used more red this year. The front view looks so good, you know. And I don't know, man, it's just such a nice looking car. I like how they styled the wheel covers. It looks like a ninja star to me. It's such a nice car. And also at the rear where they've got the Italian flag, that's such a nice touch. With all of this aside, there is one thing that prevents it from being number one. It's the fact that they don't have the full-on Alfa Romeo logo on the engine cover like they usually do. They have the words Alfa Romeo, but if they had the full-on logo, I think this would be number one. It would look so much better. But you know, it is what it is. That doesn't mean it's a bad looking car. It's beautiful. I like it. And hopefully their performance is as good as their livery is. So Alfa Romeo is going to be second place for me. And now we get to first place. I think it's kind of obvious, but this car is driven by a Monegasque and a Spaniard. It's the Scuderia Ferrari F1-75. I don't know what to say. It's a great car. It is sick. It is beautiful. I think as soon as I saw it, I knew this was going to be one of the best looking liveries of this season. And if you compare it to like last year's car, which had that weird burgundy effect and the green Michelin logo, and I don't think Michelin are part of Ferrari anymore. Michelin is basically Philip Morris tobacco in disguise. But yeah, I think when we saw the likes of Santander joining back to Ferrari, I thought we might get a red and white car. I wanted to, but now looking at this, I'm kind of happy we went red and black. It looks so good. It looks like the 1990s Ferrari. That's what literally everyone was saying. Sure, it just may be a red car with black and front rear wings, but that simple design works for Ferrari, you know? And it's not just that, the shape of the car, like the pointed front nose, it looks so good. And with the yellow highlights near the wheels, it just literally looks like it's paying homage to the 90s Ferrari car. It looks so nice. It's simple. I like it. The Italian flag on the side is a really nice touch. I do think the 75 with the gradient is a bit weird, but it doesn't really bother me that much. I do have one critique though. I think instead of using the matte red, I think they should have gone glossy, because that's like traditional with Ferraris. I think it would look so much better, but that doesn't undermine the fact that it's a great looking car. It's the best looking car this year. I also want to mention the shape, like it has these weird looking bathtubs shaped in as the side pod. It looks weird, but I like it. I think it makes it look aggressive. It's a nice characteristic of the car, and with the shade of red they use, it really complements the car. Hopefully it can fight for the title, and yeah, Ferrari wins the livery rankings for me. Right, that's all 11 liveries ranked. A lot of quality ones this year. I think they work really well on the new cars. And yeah, nothing much I can say other than I would like to know your guys' opinions in the comments below. But yeah, hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll see you later. Bye.